Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Today is a very special day, as every other day. However, today is the 26th of July, 2026, and we are going to be speaking about the events in the sky that already have played out in our lives. Please know that all events in yeah in our reality happen for a reason, and they are supported by the forces in the sky, what I call the allies, the planets, the stars, and the asteroids, and of course the points in your natal chart. I will start sharing screen. This is going to be a lecture format. I have created some slides for you. I am going to be speaking a little bit on what this alignment represents for humanity in the next, potentially 300 years. I don't believe, like many others, it will take, one event in the sky for our lives to completely change in a way that we are stepping into future Earth. However, it is our part that we play that makes the change. And so every little step that we take towards our own true self, so towards our own harmonic blueprint, so your harmonics that you've came to planet Earth with to share, to inspire, to express, to collaborate, and to live it. So make sure that you connect to the deepest part of yourself. Even right now, before I start sharing, let's have a moment to just allowing something bigger than ourselves to guide this presentation, this conversation. If there is time for sharing, I will invite people in. At the moment, I believe there's only one person. Yes. Thank you, Rachel, for being here. Okay, let's begin with full presence. I'm going to share a screen, and here we are. Present. The Great Reset of July 2026. What a time to be alive. What a time to be fully human, sentient human, aligned, connected, and feeling truly inspired to be our full self. And when I speak of full self, I want to be very clear that it means your true being. When we arrive on planet Earth, we have a mission, a purpose, a desire, a true dreaming from the soul, and we want to really, truly navigate ourselves through that. And of course, we grow up and we are put in society, and we're put in community, and we're put in education, and we're put in constructs and mechanics and boundaries of all that is our supposed reality that a little bit constricts our full self, our full aspirations, our full creativity, our full boundless energy. We are boundless being. By that, I mean without bounds, without limits. But we do live in a limited um, non-reality. And when I say non-reality, it's because when we start realizing who we truly are, then those pretend gates vanish. I want to say that that has been a journey in my own life. It hasn't been easy, but I know it's possible. And those parameters, those frames that keeps you small are not real. So take a moment to really fully feel inspired by this expression of what is occurring on our sky. As you know, the Great Reset can mean so many things, right? It can mean You have a phone that you have been working with and using, and it kind of in a way is an extension of all your memory, of all your photographs and messages. And sometimes you need to, sometimes accidentally, there is a button to reset the whole thing. And the whole thing returns as if you had just unpacked it from the box as new. And not that this is occurring for humanity on planet Earth immediately, but this has truly begun. This great reset does not mean that we go backwards into the beginning of time where dinosaurs existing, living, on the planet, but it's just so much more. It's about returning to the truth of what this planet and ourselves as alive sentient beings were meant to collaborate and to co-create and to evolve into. So, main words here obviously reset, but adaptation, rebuilding, collaboration, evolution. Let's begin. I'm excited about sharing this. The stars have aligned in real time. There has occurred an event, and it's not the last one, it's not the first one. However, this alignment of rare, unprecedented harmonics came together between, I think, I want to say, the 16th of July and the 24th of July. There was this little adjustment, and then all of a sudden, all these planets, Pluto, 4 degrees of Aquarius, I will explain all of them. Neptune, 4 degrees of Aries, Uranus, 4 degrees of Gemini, Jupiter, 4 degrees of Leo. If you know your natal chart, if you know you have planets or axis on, between Pluto and, sorry, Aquarius and Leo, that is where the main focus has occurred, and this is through tropical Western astrology. Then there are massive readjustments, realignments, rebirthing, immense potential. If you have in your natal chart anything, anywhere, planets or axis points between 3 degrees and 5 degrees, you have contacted this in some way within your chart. We all have all of this in our chart. We don't necessarily have a planet on those specific points. It will affect everyone. The entirety of humanity already has. It's been in motion since 2023. This is not a new event, but this particular harmonic, it's one in 6,000 years, and I will share with you. Excuse me, my cat wants to drink my water. So I'm going to hide it under here. Okay. So as I wrote here, from here, we can see the point of no return, the undoing of old systems and the buildings of a new civilization. And yes, I should say that another keyword is a new civilization in all that that may entail. Our entire world view is about to shift. So when we think about a shift, a lot of us have been speaking about the great shift. We spoke about it before 2012. We spoke about it after 2012. We spoke it in the harmonic convergence. We just keep talking about a shift, and it has occurred right under our feet and right above our head. Continuously, evolution is constant, and we are constant within that. So again, what has occurred in the sky, it's so much about what humanity has created, what humanity has expanded and evolved from the beginning of time to now. At the same time, I truly believe as an astrologer, there is a great balance and a great harmony in the chaos of the universe. And in this great balance and in this great harmony, we have all the keys and all of the codes to jump into new realities. So, this planetary harmonics assisting new time. We exist and inhabit an interconnected universe. Please take a moment to feel that. We exist and inhabit an interconnected universe. So many times life has presented us with extreme decisions, with dire prospects, with impossible odds. Yet there is a harmony and a balance. There's a perfect alignment of harmonics, wheels within wheels that are in motion from the very cells of your being to beyond what we know out there in the firmament. Planetary harmonics are living geometries. I know that if you look at a chart, for example, if you have studied astrology, if you have studied your natal chart, you will get a round circle with lots of glyphs and some angular alignments, some numbers, some angles, some lines. But that is the best that we can do right now to express the infinite sky and the infinite intelligence that is connected to us. Although it feels like we're looking at 2D picture of some weird glyphs, we are actually at the very best we can trying to share what the sky is speaking of and what the sky has as a map for us to navigate through this process into an advanced civilization on planet Earth. So living geometries are expressions of planetary systems, which, yes, they are constant balls of matter and gas and heat and cool and alchemizing each other and in motion in a grid, literally a grid that is our solar system. And we inhabit ourselves within that solar system and within that planet Earth. So the dynamics of the living geometries that are the planetary bodies, the planets, the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, their dynamic motion is woven from interstellar medium. And interstellar medium for me represents everything, the infinity and beyond, literally. So let's take a moment to investigate what exists within infinity and beyond. The interstellar medium is filled with plasma cosmic consciousness, and we, as I said, are bound by the interactions of them, us, our minds, the way that we are perceiving reality, the way we are made to perceive reality, the way we are choosing to navigate our own path, and then our awakening, understanding, reconciling ourselves that we are indeed one and each other. We are unique in our capabilities, in our skills, in our sentience, in our perception, and paradoxically, we also inhabit the same life force, the same existence, and we are made for collaboration with all sentient fields. So just like trees in a forest, they are beaming electrical signals. This is the planets, transferring intelligence, aligning frequencies in different alchemical configurations at every moment and at every major pivotal time in humanity's evolutionary trajectory. If you could imagine, sorry, maybe ignore this for a moment. If you could imagine that this funny balls in the sky that when a telescope, a powerful telescope gets to take images of, and we get to see them on maybe on the internet, maybe there is an app that you were using to see the sky. If we could imagine the perfection of the universe, the best I can describe right now is just like the trees. So if you are in a forest or when you're in a forest, those trees under your feet are sending signals through the um, roots network, through the mycelium, but also through water. And they are able to ionize water. And ionized water is also a carrier of intelligence and also a carrier of memory. And just as trees are carriers of memory, not only they are speaking through below, underneath your feet, but they're also speaking through their electromagnetical potential capabilities, through their biofield, and two planetary systems. I think my cat really wants to drink my water. We're talking about water. And just like trees in a forest, imagine the alignments of planetary bodies, and they can be asteroids, um, yeah, trans-Jupiter, trans-Plutonian locations, rocks, pieces in the sky that are holding a mass, and everything that has mass exists in the opposition of forces. I cannot remember what science calls this, but because of this constant, it creates as a toroidal field a power force which beams electrical signals, which to us feels like a transference of intelligence, that feels like codes that affect the way we feel, affect the way we make choices. I could say so much about that, but I'm going to continue with this mind thought that the event in the sky is a planetary agreement between humanity alive on planet Earth right now. So all souls from all dimensions, from all time space, have chosen to be on planet Earth at this very moment. And the agreement was that we would be here and express after this pivotal time has been taking place. And as I said, this event has begun at around 2023. It will not truly end, although the alignments will release. So if you can also imagine all of these planetary bodies creating a massive squeeze, because all of them coming from all of the different orbits align perfectly. And orbits are not all circular like we can see a lot of the time in pictures. They actually create in their own different orbital paths, but they are bound to the sun, our central star. And because they're bound through gravity and other events, um, they are also very much part of our lives. So when I'm speaking about harmonics, I am speaking about frequencies. I am speaking about sound. Of course, I'm speaking about color. Of course, I'm speaking about geometry. Of course, I'm speaking about electromagnetics. I'm speaking about pulse. But the configurations in the sky that I will discuss are trines and sextiles. And trines are the absolute support. It's a bit like when you're trying to get up somewhere and then somebody gives you, an up and like, okay, this is steady ground and I can now move upwards and onwards without impediment. So trines that are created in your natal chart, in the transit chart in the sky, are always inevitably the flow. Like whatever was coming into being, it's now fully complete and in motion. And of course, it's always harmonious and always lucky and always feels good. And it also creates effortlessness. It is easy. And sextiles are the same, all of the above as I described, except you have to jump into it. This is the only difference, is the potential for all of that, but you have to take the opportunity. So both of those have occurred with all of those planetary bodies in the sky. So the sentient fields collaborating, as I am speaking a lot in all of my posts and all of my shares and all of my videos. What has occurred on July this month on planet Earth is creating a harmonic of influence, and it is in the benefit of expansion and evolution, but so much so, and so much so that it is guiding all of us, all of us. There is no immunity to evolution. I'm often speaking about this, into a new civilization. So the old civilization is completing its ending. All that we have known humanity to be and stand for on planet Earth will change, because all of those stories have carried frequencies, and all of those frequencies have also carried drama and trauma and war and distress and atrocious undoing of life, and against all that it means to be in interconnectedness. Of course, not in everyone, but the systems have been created to hold and protect a theme or a desire that wasn't the entirety of humanity. So for a time, we have agreed to play it out and to see how it feels and to grow from it. So all of our life experiences have been held in some kind of system, algorithm, we could call it that. And all of those algorithms are decomposing and regenerating for something new. Oh, apologies here. I misspelled humanity. By the way, since I have misspelled it, human, the HUM, so the hum of the word humanity means the divine self, means the I am. So the true humanity, the true sentient human will wake up, will alight, will ignite beyond our desires, beyond what we thought was possible. And that means our lives will change. And if we are very lucky, all of us will be able to offer who we truly are in that rebuilding. So yes, if you follow astrologers, there are some great ones out there. Um, they have been speaking about Barbeau. I think his name was Andre Barbeau. He was a great astrologer that dedicated his life to look at alignments that would affect the collective. That was his passion and his great skill. And so he was able to foresee the the fall of the Great Wall of Berlin. He was able to foresee that there was going to be some kind of, he didn't know it was an epidemic necessarily around 2020, but he knew that was going to be a point of great control that would then change reality, and that has occurred. And he also spoke about what has been in place this month. And so often, because the configuration creates what looks like a basket, and I will show it to you, I like to say that this basket is holding the potential for humanity's adaptation into a new reality and the birth of a sentient collective. And it, like, sometimes I think, what am I saying? What does it mean? How do we do it? How, yes. Me, you, how do we do it? We do it through harmonics. We do it through alignment. We do it through collaboration. So here's the part where I speak about the four planets. So we have Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is the planet of immense transformation. It's the planet that will work with our psyche in Aquarius to where before we would have felt this energy and felt it was the survival of the fittest, or taking to the street and go against the tide. Now it's so much about how we can feel inspired to flourish, to use the pure life force, the pure energy of the universe to create deep transformations that are in the foundations of our reality and in the foundations of systems. And this deep dive into the foundational systems cracks. It is time. It is flawed, and we are ready. When it sits in Aquarius, it's really all about the people. It is about community. It is about pouring the wisdom that has been held in, the image of Aquarius is the water bearer. Although Aquarius is an air sign, it is bringing the consciousness, the ready held in time space that we can now access through the quantum fields, through the plasma fields, through anything really, choose to collaborate with any sentient fields and you will be mind blown. Like you will have to reconfigure your mind and the way you see reality. I recommend you follow some of my courses and, of course, contact me if you have any further questions about this. So Aquarius is really about dismantling. Pluto in Aquarius is about the dismantling the old control system. I say it with a little bit of trembling because a lot of people have really desired the control because we're too afraid to make decisions. And I promise you, the moment that you are in the center of your being, there is no decision that you will make that won't guide you to the next steps of your evolution. It's kind of like a false reality by believing in systems that will protect you, that it gives you security and that will keep you alive. Even true life is living right now and jumping into the true desires of your soul is being fully alive, and there is nothing, no systems that can stop life force from expressing. So return, return, return. Neptune in Aries. Oh my goodness, I have had spoken so much about this when it first entered Aries, and then when it conjunct with Saturn at 0 degrees in February 2026. So a group of us were in the Great Pyramid at that time, in the King's Chamber, just beaming with joy for humanity and for the fact that now we are truly free to dream a new dream as a collective and inspired to dream and be fully walking towards our own divine dream, our own unique expression of our soul, which I call the dreaming that is constant and alive. This is the aliveness that I speak of, and this is the aliveness that I speak of in terms of a dynamic motion that is, if you like, the very center of the toroidal, the very center of the spiral that exists in all of nature and that exists in all of the universe. And also the energy that connects us to the band of time, which exists within black holes, or I think they're called something else now, dark dark centers. They speak about dark energy. It is all about electricity, traversing beyond time, fast, instant, in the now. This is why so much of the old teachings have been about the now, entering the now, inhabiting the now. In the now, you have access to the totality of time space. So Neptune in Aries is there until 2039. But yes, I forgot to mention Pluto in Aquarius remains until 2043. This is the longest alignment. Pluto is the slowest planet in our solar system. We are always discovering new trans-Neptunian bodies, which sometimes they do get called planets. But so far, as we evolve our consciousness and our ability to connect, more and more will be discovered. So Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2043. That means we have a lot of energy and a lot of time to slowly but surely regenerate all that we believed was real. And when I say regenerate all that we believed was real, is to look at ourselves and look at the untruths that we have told ourselves and look at the untruths that we have wanted to believe. A lot of us, including myself, have wanted to believe because it was easier than taking responsibility for our time on Earth. Think about Neptune will be in Aries, and of course, it doesn't separate Neptune and this whole event in the sky from Saturn, the great architect that creates out of the ether. So, from the planetary plasmic light, particles, waves of Neptune, which is your purest, unbound truth, what I call the dreaming. Is the most divine essence within you as you connected to the I am, connected to the all and everything in time, space, everywhere, all the time. A much higher octave of Venus, which is the love and the harmony and the beauty and the deliciousness. So a much more advanced harmonics is held within the frequency of Neptune, and it will be in Aries, the absolute first beginning, opening. Let's go, let's create, let's collaborate. As I wrote here, Aries, the sign of new potential, the true self's vision, initiative, embodied action. This really means I don't have time to wait. I don't have time for time. I remember writing this years ago. I don't have time for time because time ticks and we think, when this happens, when I finish my course, when my children are older, you get the idea. The wild seed within that wants to thrive in its own ecosystem, in its own reality, in its own harmonic, that it's alive the way a forest can live for millennia. This is all the expressions of your soul that you can bring forward as you and put within the flow of the cosmic dynamic essence of creation as creator with all of creation, and all of those things exist forever. Imagine you are inspired to create art, and that art will inspire future generations. Imagine you are writing something. Imagine you create a sculpture. Imagine you implement a system or you build a technology that assists humanity in healing, in recharging, in cleansing and purifying, whatever is your desire, follow it. This is truly the moment that we will not have this moment ever anyway, but we will never have this moment to be fully in the dreaming. This is what I call the dreaming, to be fully alive following your active expression, your true self, beyond what people told you, beyond what you believed. Uranus in Gemini, the great awakener, the great transformer, the lightning strike that brings light into darkness, that changes the environment just by existing. This is the energy held by Uranus in Gemini, which is so much about information, which is so much about traveling pieces of memory, codes, and I want to say little particles that with it you create new Earth. See it as you wish. We will take a moment to do that at the end. Whatever it is that you create with, that is held within Uranus in Gemini because it is the transport, the force, the electrical current, the river of the cosmos. Uranus is also the disruptor, different from Pluto, where Pluto goes really deep. Once used to be called the death and rebirth. We have done a lot of that. We have believed there was a need to be the sacrificial lamb. We have believed we have to be crucified. We have believed we have to go through the dark night of the soul. And all of the things have existed in agreement for a purpose. And hopefully all of us have grown through it. The age of suffering is over. Uranus in Gemini is not interested and it's not carrying the energy of old worlds reality, old world's construct, nor old world's dogma. We are in the light, clear communication, information network of all fields. This is why so much of what I speak of is pointing, guiding, inspiring for you to follow from the being that you are to the sentient fields. There is no ending to how you can inform yourself, understand reality, create reality, and also to find solutions that you would not imagine possible. I am living the very expression of that. I cannot disclose it on a public platform like this. If I could, I would. But the very least I can say is that because I have allowed my mind to be curious, I have understood and I have lived through this magical, what I call it, the miracle frequency where what you could never have imagined has taken place and has all to been because of a tree. I know it sounds crazy and I wish I could tell you the story and one day it will be in a book. But for now, believe me when I say that any sentient field that you wish to connect, the many that you already connect, have the ability to inspire within you to literally drop a consciousness that you are aligned and you have the frequency within you to unravel and open potentials for problem solving of a much higher dimension reality to complete, terminate, conclude, cut what has been occurring in your life that you are feeling ready to move through, complete, and evolve from. So Uranus in Gemini is so much of what I'm speaking of right now. It's the ability for us to be fully sentient and to be fully alive in that sentence and in communication, in telepathy, like true telepathy, not what we think, oh, I'm reading your mind. No, that was never telepathy. Telepathy is aligning frequencies so much that we penetrate each other's field, but we can only do that when all of the untruths have left us. If the field is holding untruth, then we have to first deal with that and complete those stories. And it's gonna happen. The world is moving towards that, and I know so many beautiful, extraordinary humans that have moved through those realities. So I know that you listening can do that too. And of course, Jupiter, the friend of all, Jupiter is the great expansion, the great let's give you more, let's expand creativity, let's be generous, let's express like more than your wildest dreams is, yeah, is the gifter of our solar system. It is also set in Leo, which is so much about being seen and not being afraid to express your voice, to express your power of freedom of the soul. When I speak of power, I don't mean we are going to overpower and we're going to manipulate and we're going to influence. I'm speaking of the power that comes from the absolute flow, what I was speaking when two fields are clear, they interconnect, and the geometry creates something new that is benevolent and it's fast and it's intelligent. The same way Jupiter in Leo, which will be the entire of this year. So if you have any planets or angles, axis on your natal chart. This is being illuminated by Jupiter, bringing you gifts and expansion and goodness. But it is also about standing up, and especially if you have Leo Sun or Leo Ascendant, um, and if you have any other planets, maybe even Saturn and Mercury, you are one of the leaders. And again, leadership doesn't mean I will make everybody follow me. That's the old mind. But it's so much about holding the collaboration and creating and seeing, having the vision. This is what a true leader is listening to all pieces of that geometry and then having the ability to synthesize and allowing and um, putting into flow. I hope this makes sense to you as it makes sense to me in my head. And of course, when I speak about personal courage, I speak about your ability to let yourself be curious and let yourself let go of what you believed was true. Even if it's painful, it will not be painful forever. It will not be as painful as living in unreality, in untruth, in non being. Literally is moving towards death if you do that. So choose life, choose yourself, choose the courage to be curious and to make that step to be fully alive in this moment. Well, what does it all mean for humanity? I have spoken a lot. So yeah, this is what it means. It means break down the solution. Everything that we thought was important may not be. You may wake up one day and think, why am I paying for this? Why have I believed this? Why am I acting like this? Why do I wake up every day for this? Yeah. This time frame marks the breakdown, the solution of centralized hierarchical industrial age structures. If I begin speaking about that, it has so much to do about terror and pain and lack and loss. We need to literally, you know what I was speaking about, resetting. It is truly time. This resetting is occurring anyway, whether we love it or we are ready. But you can do that and enter this, what I'm calling for now, the miracle field. There must be another word for understanding how you can create a new potential in the most devastating time that it could be occurring in your life, that it could be your reality. Um, yeah, so when I speak of industrial age structures, I do speak all of those things that have been put in place after taking over lands, after creating some kind of document that states, oh, this is the nation of, this is what we abide and stand, and this is what we will fight for. And yeah, all of the things that make groups of people to go and choose to be part of anything that is non-evolution, non-progressive, and certainly non-life, non-supportive of life. So all of those things that have created the systems and the structures that we have paid for, abide for, believed, um, signed up for. This is what I'm speaking of. Combined with a re-individuation of true purpose, which I already spoke about, the true dreaming and about being the architect of your own reality only by allowing yourself to be full yourself, to fully see what is. And when you see what is, nothing that isn't exists. I promise you. And of course, the communication revolution of Uranus and Gemini. And what is the blessing that we have with having had Jupiter creating the force, the edge of the basket. I will show you in a second. So yeah, so this is what has occurred. It will take potentially until 2032, maybe until 2050, maybe in 300 years. It would not happen if we do not stand for who we are and for what we came here to do. What is our harmonic blueprint, and what I call the super skill? We all have come here with a purpose. We didn't just fall off wherever the bus in the sky. We have come to be part of an experience, and I am 100% convinced that we have all signed up to be part of this experience that I am sharing with you. And of course, if you are watching and listening, you are resonating with it too, and have a deep understanding and have a super skill to bring to the new geometries forming from this flow of freedom to be fully in alignment with it means to be fully you. So if humanity chooses, the potential is the birth of a new self-aware, interconnected, collaborative, sentient human civilization. This is the steps we take to enter an advanced civilization potential for humanity. This means humanity lives to see this. The system collapse of an old reality and the forming of a new civilization. One capable of communicating with advanced intelligence. And yes, if you're into the harmonics of the stars, and if you're into communicating with non-local beings and star lineage allies, your benevolent friends in the stars, in other galaxies, even in other star systems, sharing skills through living systems. And when I say living systems, I am speaking of electrified ionized water, the electrified ionized water that is possible by being fully aware of your technology, that is your physical body, as a sentient being that receives informations and that reads through the biofield, your electrical, magnetical technology, that transmutes and receives and then expresses the desires of your heart, of your dreaming, of your full sentience, soul self. And yes, sharing skills, sharing skills. I am good at this. I am going to bring this because this aligns with this. I could make examples, but I think you get the picture of what sharing your skills. It's a bit like arriving at a place that maybe you thought was a deserted island, and you find there are others, and there is one person, I don't know, creating a technology that you are curious and you think, what's that? And the person says, oh, I've been creating this for a long time and I've created a device, and all I need now is dot, dot, dot. And then this person, being you maybe, says, oh, wait a minute, I've been thinking that if I do this and I do this, I will get this. And I think this will fit with what? This is what I'm speaking about. Geometries, when they're clean and clear, and you are truly living and vibrating the true harmonics of your being, we meet the others, we find the others, and we create. Yes, we could say they are communities, but they're not communities. And I'm just going to go and be your neighbor, and we'll all be singing together in the morning and and drinking kombucha and having yoga sessions. That would be fantastic. But beyond that, we are creating new realities by stopping the field of shame and pain and terror and suffering and choices that come from that. So, yes, we build adaptive, regenerative, future inspired society. And so it begins. Here we are. I use this image because it felt so much. It could be the potential of us entering this point. And although it looks like we can't see, we are just around the bend. Astronomy and quantum mechanics speak of the black hole as being the place where all of the energy of creation exists within, and it is a perfect curve in time. And so you may look like there is nothing and you are falling into nothingness, but that is the beginning of everything. It's the beginning of time itself. So thank you for being part of this lecture. I just want to show you here the transit of this is right now. This is what it looks like right now. As you saw, there is obviously, as I was saying, is a flat version of what is happening in the sky. But if I was to come backwards a few days, I have to start share again. I believe I have to use this. There we go. Now I'm sharing what I was speaking of. It looks like, excuse me, a circle and another circle and a lot of glyphs and a lot of numbers and a lot of interconnected lines that create angles. This is what I've been speaking of in the harmonics of the sky. This is a map of time. If you can understand that, you are already halfway there to understanding how reality unfolds for you in your own time frame on planet Earth, in your own incarnation, and how you and it exists within the interconnected field. So when I move this to about, oh yes, apologies, I'm going to move some things out of the way so it is easier for you to see. I'm going to take this away. Okay, here we go. So this is the basket, the so-called André Barbeau, the wonderful astrologer who has now passed away. He could see that the planets were squeezing, 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 and coming together at. So this is the 17th, but you can see that already there is a trine on the 17th of July of Pluto and Uranus and of sextiling Neptune and Pluto and sextiling Neptune and Uranus almost at 4 degrees, almost 1 degree apart from fully sextiling. But as it comes closer, there we go. The 18th, it begins. We have an opposition of Pluto and Jupiter, which brings the benevolent transformation, the total expansion of fully being for humanity, for collaboration, for integration of all that is a true sentient nature of humanity. This is big. This is immense. This reminds me of people like, oh, now I will forget her name. Ah, what's her name? She dedicated her entire life to listen and understand and write and research and share about primates. Cannot recall her name, but I hope that I can write it on the screen later. She was one of the dedicated humans who has recently passed away, who dedicated her life to describe and inspire the collaboration of sentient fields. And for her, her life journey and her life path and her dedication and her passion had been the primates. This is one of many. Of course, you have millions of people that you know that have stepped up. And to be honest, to be like that is to be in your joy. This is what I call the joy of the soul, and living every day in love with yourself, in love with life. Yeah, it's not easy. I am humbled by life, and I'm sure you are too. So here's the basket. As you can see, it does look like a basket, and it holds itself 19th, 20th. And I have to mention that Jupiter is still in Aries. It began at the 0 degrees. It's the absolute beginning for humanity. That was the portal where from there onwards we were going to create a new reality. Pluto started digging deep and pulling up all of the atrocities. I can't name them because it's not good for the video, but all of the things that were absolutely horrendous to behold. Pluto was doing this work to create new realities for us. Now, Jupiter in Leo will bring us the voice, our ability to roar in truth and in a way that supports as a true leader. Uranus in Gemini is, as I said, so much about the expression of your being, and it makes the perfect trine to your voice, to the being that you truly are. Yeah, I feel like to say it one more time, if you are not being fully yourself, find find the courage to fully see what holds you back. And you don't have to go through, you know, transcendental meditation for 3 years or a course or somebody doing some kind of hullabaloo or I mean, of course, a plant medicine, all of those things are amazing, but you don't have to. You have all and everything to see it. All you have to do, all we have to do as humans is see the boundaries and realize that they're not real. One last thing I want to say, which is very important, which is not part of this video, but it will be the talk of my next video, so watch out. for my next free video, it is about the motion of this axis of the nodes. Those are the nodes of fate. And so as this basket was occurring and bringing this major transformation, pivoting time, literally the great undoing of our civilization, so that we can build and adapt and transform and evolve. It's just at the 0 degrees of the axis, and on today, actually, today, 26th of July, they jump at 29 degrees. They begin a new cycle. This is an 18-year cycle. So look back what was occurring in your life 18 years ago. I don't have the brain right now to calculate 18 years from today to the past. See what was beginning and what was ending. The nodes of fate hold the beginning, the potential, the influx of new energy and what you want to create. And the south node on the other side, also known as Rahu and Ketu. This is the point of release, of letting go, of completion. So now, if you have anything at obviously the 29th degree or the 0 degree even of Virgo, the cusp to Leo, and anything you have in Leo for the next 18 months, those will be inviting you and really creating events in your life that lets you see the potential to change. And the south node jumping from the 0 degree of Pisces into the 29th degree of Gemini, where eventually it will meet Pluto. So this is going to be another major catalyst. This is coming in the next 18 months. We will talk about this in another video. So honored to be here sharing this with you, for having this technology, and for being truly myself in this moment, beyond life experiences, beyond what we believe is real, with you in this new beginning. It's begun. It has already begun. Your ancestors were part of it, and your future descendants depend on it. So many blessings, and thank you immensely for you being fully the master of your own being and fully mastering your ability to perceive reality, change perception, and inform. And when I say inform, I mean to put into form from the dreaming of your being, from the geometry, the harmonics that you are in conjunction with all sentient fields, including the forest in the sky that we know as planetary bodies. So immense gratitude for you. Thank you for all of you who will watch this later. I do have a course called Interstellar Communication. This is birthed from all of my materials and all of my studies and all of my research since 2019, and of course guided by the harmonics of the universe, of which I am delighted to share. We have moved the dates because I am truly hoping that many more will join the container and be inspired to jump into collaboration with sentient fields. So we're now starting the 6th of August. I will have all of the information out. It is on my website, which can be found easily. I send you my love, gratitude, and immense desire to see you well. Thank you all. Thank you, Jessica, for being here. Much love.